Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very excited to have with me as my guest, Danita Young. And let me tell you a little bit about Danita. After years of failing with toxic weight loss, and she devoted her life to finding solutions to a healthier mind, body, and life. It all changed when she was standing on the stage with trophies in hand, accepted to nationals. And that was when a light bulb came on, and Danita decided that at that moment, these trophies were not hers to keep, but instead for women ready to break free of that loop of weight loss. Her success began as a passionate personal trainer to opening Original Booty Band's brand, becoming a brand leader, and designing the first female complete home gym. Besides their amazing products, they cultivated a true purpose, which is giving hope back in weight loss. They do this with their 3-step program that incorporates neuroscience that has been proven to create long-term results. She is passionate about supporting women to step into their best. Danita is the owner and the CEO at Align with Danita Young. We're going to talk about 5 powerful steps to feel unstoppable. So please join me in welcoming my guest, Danita Young. Danita, such a good topic to discuss. And, this time of year, people have already fallen off the resolution bandwagon of how to get healthier in 2025. And so it's a good reminder of things that, the small things that we do every day that can really result in the big difference. So it's my pleasure to have you as a guest to talk about what you do and how you can help others. But before we get into those 5 powerful steps, I ask 2 easy questions. I sometimes get surprised by the answer. But first, what part of the country, where do you live? Where do you call home?
I'm over here in southern Utah, right next to Zion National Park, that beautiful area.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Do you do hiking and things in the national park?
Yeah, there is a lot of hiking to do in my area.
Yeah, I believe so. So I talked about where you are today and a little bit about the challenges and really what drove you to do what you do today. But I always like for my guests to share their story of, the different paths that led you to where you are today and really inform the journey that you're on, the mission that you have, and why you're so passionate about it. So if you could just spend a few minutes chatting about that.
Yes, absolutely. I think anything that comes from greatness, if we all look back on any accomplishment we've ever had, if I ever ask that to anybody that I work with, I say, "What's your biggest accomplishment?" And then they'll tell me, and then right afterwards I'll say, "What did it come easy to you?" And they usually say no, it didn't come easy. And so you're right on that, that usually there is a depth of a story that takes us to our next version of ourselves. And oftentimes when we're in that depth, we feel alone. and we feel
Mm,
like we're the only one, or we feel like this is what we're destined for. This is what our beliefs are. And,
yeah.
just feel like there's no way out. But the good news is it's just strengthening you to your next level. And so now that we get that broader perspective, it can really get us to where we want to go. So yeah, my story started with, I mean, it kind of depends on which story, but specifically weight loss. I struggled for an eating disorder for about 10 years. And I noticed that when I was in the eating disorder, by trying to starve myself and use laxatives to try to lose the weight, and really just kind of in a I would call it a mental, you know, issue of just like trying to get over this like whole weight loss thing, especially with like the beliefs of society and the beliefs of, how your parents respond to you, or, whatever. And ultimately, I found that I got bigger and bigger the more stressed out.
Mm,
And the more I was trying to push through it,
yeah.
the more I saw myself get worse and worse. And so I went on a journey of really discovering like what it takes, mind, body, combined, that a lot of people are just kind of over there fighting on workouts and meal plans, but they don't realize that there's so much to do with the mindset aspect of it. And so through
Mm,
not only my own journey, through the experience of it, then I was able to make a brand. And in this brand, it was beyond the entrepreneur journey. For any of those that are listening, it is so roller coaster. You get the highs, the
yeah.
lows, the highs and lows,
Yeah.
and it's going to take you to levels of yourself that you just don't even expect. And one level that it took me to was homelessness. I was homeless for about 8 months, and really felt like I had, again, that alone feeling, like lack of support. And that was a different journey through my entrepreneurship. And so ultimately, I could go into major details, but you said just a few minutes. And so ultimately it comes down to our rock bottom moments truly are the ones that define us the most.
Yeah. Well, as we go through these 5 steps, I'm sure that we can touch on other aspects, just as a frame of reference. And I didn't mention in your bio, but you were in bikini competitions, which would definitely cause you to want to be more worried about your weight, I would assume. Any kind of putting your body out there and modeling or whatnot is always something that can cause you to have that eating disorder, if you will, But somebody that just had a baby that's trying to get back into their clothes will have that same thing. It's like, how can I do this quickly? I want to wear that bathing suit in the summer, and so definitely your mind plays some definite tricks on you in terms of you being able to accomplish it. Because the more you stress, the more cortisol you produce, and that adds the pounds no matter what.
Yep, it does. It raises the blood sugar levels without you even eating. So you don't even have to be eating and you're actually gaining weight while you're stressed out. Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's all mindset, right? Like if we're not improving our anxious thoughts, or if we're not working on our subconscious beliefs and things like that, yeah, they will. And not when our 20s and 30s, but as soon as we start hitting over 40s, definitely hormones. And
Yeah.
I mean, cortisol is a hormone. So like you find your nervous system, your mindset, those are powerful things. And they're actually not hard to get a rein on once you know what it is, and that it's just there to try to protect you. Ooh, you get more control, and you understand what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. So for me in my late 60s, it's just something that I've dealt with now since my 40s, and it's how you handle it for sure. So part of that comes from our daily, as you said, a roller coaster ride, not for entrepreneurs especially, but for anyone. A working parent has a lot of overwhelm, a lot of anxiety. So how can we break free of those things?
Yeah, the first step I would do is I would track and measure it, meaning like if you don't know where you're at, you don't know where you're going. And
Mhm.
so things that have helped me is I've created 5 different tracking metrics. One, I use laws of physics because I'm very cognitive. I like to go towards truth and facts. So by tracking and measuring where you're currently at. So like one example could be the nervous system has as far as when you're talking about anxiety specifically right now, is it's got three different levels. Obviously, there's only two states you can be in, which is your parasympathetic and your sympathetic. But if you
Right.
break it down into three sections, meaning the red zone is the free zone, this is the shutdown, this is the depression, this is the panic attacks, this is the freeze. And then the yellow zone is going to be your fight or flight. This is either your worry, your concern, or it's your irritation or your frustration. And then you have the
Mhm.
green zone, which is your calm, your curiosity, your openness, your expansiveness. Okay. And so out of those three ones, I want you to think of it as a traffic light. And your nervous system is all interconnected to every part of your body. So if you are operating mostly in the yellow, where a lot of my clients are, they're going to find that automatically your veins will start to shrink, which will make it so your blood pressure rises, causing hypertension. You will notice automatically your metabolism will slow down because your body turns more into a survival, a protective state than it is in the
Mhm.
green zone, which is ready to go or lose weight. And so not only that, but like your middle ear shuts off, your oxygen comes in less, you can't think as clear, the brain fog comes in, the hormones get affected, like so much part of it. And so my first thing I would have somebody do is track and measure what percentage are you in of your red zone on an average, what percentage are you in your yellow zone on an average, and what percentage are you in your green zone. That's one example of a tracking metrics to see
Mhm.
where you're currently at. And obviously, the goal is to get you 90% in the green.
And I would imagine that when you're trying to do that, you really have to be honest and with yourself. You really have to look in the mirror and see how things are, because sugarcoating it, but maybe a bad term for us talking about this, but it isn't going to help. You really have to be realistic and say, "Gosh, I'm in the red zone way more than I need to be."
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Integrity with oneself is the whole theme of your podcast of confidence. I have found that confidence all comes down to how integral with are you with yourself.
Mhm.
And that was a little bit shocking. Like I thought, like so many women think like when I get the body I want, then I'm going to be confident. When I get this that I want, then I'll
Mhm.
be confident. No, I truly think it starts with how integral are you with yourself? How much do you show up for yourself? If you're going to say that you're going to do that workout, did you do the workout? If you say you're going to wake up at 6 a.m., did you wake up at 6 a.m.? Because you have an internal best friend, your subconscious. And think of it as if you constantly keep telling your best friend, hey, we're gonna go to coffee dates every Sunday at 12 o'clock. But if you stop showing up, eventually she's gonna lose trust. And so that
Mhm.
confidence starts to wither away. And so the first place truly is, like you said, integral is so huge within ourselves.
For sure. So, how do you recommend we gain that unshakable confidence and self-worth? And as you were talking about that, I think of people that I know of all different body types, but uh, they'll walk into a room and they own it, no matter what. And it's it's being their authentic self and accepting who they are, what they are. And I really think it's so tied to knowing that you are living your core values. And
Mm.
that's where the unshakableness comes. So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That I would definitely say confidence is not about uh, outside appearance at all. Because yeah, we have seen in our own mind, we're like, I have to lose that 5 pounds to lose weight, but yet somebody that is 5 pounds heavier than us can be the most extremely confident in the room, right? And so yeah, it absolutely has nothing to do with an outside appearance. For me, what I found unshakable confidence was really being able to turn around and look at my belief systems. That was really huge for me, was recognizing that not everything in my head is true, and also
Mhm.
recognizing that my brain and my body are just built to protect me. And so if I've lived the majority of my life in a doom and gloom state, then my body and brain are going to try to keep me in that state because it's familiar and it's predictable, it's keeping me in the past. And so the
Mhm.
question of like getting into maybe a different version of yourself, if it's confidence, that's a level up. And then to get to a level up requires a different version of yourself. And you can't just expect it by just being exactly who you are. My thing that I've always learned is if I can sit down with all these limiting beliefs that are in my head and actually find out, are these really true? Or are these just what I've learned to be with society standards or with me, how my parents treated me or my siblings treated me or what have you? When you go to truth, is really where I found a lot of freedom, right? That quote of truth will set you free.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, it was like, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I don't deserve that. Like all this type of like guilt on, so many different aspects. And so as soon as I started to clear that out, is when I really almost had like a fresh slate. And when you have the fresh slate, it's like you get to build from that. And that's
Yeah.
that's what I would say has helped me so much with becoming a new version of myself is the fresh slate. Stop carrying the past. It's so contracting. You can't grow by being in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I would love to give your members right now is I want you to think of one word that will put you into a state of excitement and expansion for the future, because the future is unknown, it's unpredictable, it's full of opportunities, it's full of possibilities, it's full of the version of you that you're excited to become. But we can't be the past self to get to the future self.
Mm-hmm.
So what my word is, I use adventure, and that immediately puts me in excitement. It immediately puts me into the opportunities of the future, into the unknowns. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So today I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen today, but I'm ready to go. Let's have
Yeah.
fun. Let's play.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than what happens, the subconscious mind gets fearful of the future. And so what
Yeah.
do? We predict the future with our past, therefore making our future our past. And that's where we
Right.
get stuck in the patterns. And that's
Yeah.
that patterns that makes everything just feel like we're just living in Groundhog Day and we're not making any breakthroughs. And so by befriending yourself, befriending and picking a word for you. So Vicki, do you have a word that sends you into the future?
So for me, it really is living in the present. Like I have to be persistent in the present. And then I'm not looking at the past. I'm not worrying about the future. I'm doing my best action right now today. And so it's for me, that's the best resolution I could ever have is that every day I will just live in the present. I will do and I will act and I'm not going to worry about it. Again, it goes back to, am I living in my core values today, every day?
That's awesome. And so you pick your core values, like you pick like 1 to 5 core values, and then you live those core values presently every single day. And that's what sends you into that excitement and openness to expand you into
Yeah.
your future self.
Yeah, and that's why I end my podcast with, to enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride, because I think we forget to enjoy the ride. We're just putting ourselves to what tomorrow's going to be, and we missed all the things that happened to us today. That's another reason why I think it's important to start your day with gratitude and thankfulness and end with that as well. Because that reminds you, what did I do today that I should be happy about? And it's not big audacious goals either. It's just those little small things that will pile up to be the big audacious goals.
Yeah, easier said than done, right? Like we all know to be in gratitude. We all know to like wake up. But if we've been living a life of doom and gloom and depression or
Yeah.
sadness or loss, that just the simple thing of gratitude can actually be quite challenging for one's day. And so what's helped me is knowing what actual gratitude does. Because to your point, Vicki, you're 1,000% right. I've learned that we are all in a state of frequency, and gratitude will raise our frequency. This is physics, it's not philosophy, straight up physics, that when you go into gratitude, you send your brain and body into a place of abundance, which means you will therefore attract more abundance. Look it up. Albert Einstein says if you want to get whatever you want in your life, match the frequency to it, and there's no other way but you'll get it.
Mm.
And it is really true. And so for those that might find themselves struggling with going into gratitude, um, remember, I think what's really good to think about is sometimes we go into a narrow focus too much. We're so focused on maybe the failure we just had, or maybe I'm sick right now and I feel bad right now, or whatever parent guilt that we're having in that moment. But when you go into a broader perspective, it does take a perspective shift, but it can be the most empowering one thing that you can do for your mind is go into a broader perspective and say, hey, today's today, but I know bad things don't happen all the time. I know that it's not going to stay with me for years and years. I know that I'll have
Mm,
some good days as well. And when you recognize that good and bad are meant to go with each other, like I would not be a fabulous coach if I didn't go through rock bottom homelessness and depression and suicidal
mm,
thoughts. Like now I am the coach I am today because I'm relatable. I have women
mhm.
sit down and go, you see me. I see you because I've been you. And so
Yeah.
by having that, I now recognize the good goes with the bad. How do you know it's a good day if you haven't had a
Unless you had
bad
it.
day?
That's exactly right. How do you know joy if you haven't had sadness and depression?
Exactly. So love it
Mm,
all, right? Like appreciate
yeah.
like whatever you're going through is your story. It's your comeback story. I
Mm.
have my comeback story and I'm probably going to have more comeback stories. But when you get that broader perspective, you take more control over it. And then you can go into more gratitude because it's easy for maybe Vicki and I to be in gratitude because we now have a broader perspective. We have some life behind us. We have some rock bottom moments behind us. And we're
Mm,
like, oh, I could have celebrated a little bit more through that. I could have been a lot
mm,
more happier through that. But and I agree. I think, there's so many layers to that. But I didn't celebrate anytime I got a sale because I was like, oh, I'll jinx it. I got to wait for the next shoe to drop. And so I constantly was living my nervous system in this
no.
state of like chaos. But the cool side of it, like what Vicki and I see is no, it's all together. The good and bad are all
Yeah.
together. Sit back, enjoy the ride, be in the present, be open for the future. And just think about your journey as not a straight line. Like stop controlling it, zigzag through life, smile more, have some
Hmm.
gratitude, and
Yeah.
really raise your vibration because when you do, naturally, you'll have more better outcomes.
Yeah. I was just reading this morning in my morning devotion about worry and how, worry takes you away from really living in the present and being the best you can be. And it doesn't help anything. It doesn't it doesn't really um, change anything. Let's talk about breaking free from our limiting beliefs. There's so many people that I have talked to and coached through. Um, they just have such limiting beliefs. Whenever I retired in 2018, and whenever started my business in 2021, there could have been in my mind all these limiting beliefs. What right do I have to do podcast or coaching or training or any of this? But I just decided to say yes to every opportunity that came by that aligned with what I wanted to do and my core values. So, talk to us about limiting beliefs and breaking free from those.
Oh, wow. It's one of the most powerful things that a human being can do because if you think about it, like as a child, we are what's in called egotism. We are making everything about ourselves. If you're a parent, you definitely know what I mean. Every child is about them. It's their world, it's their choices, it's everything's about them. And so what's happening is like think of a child as like a sponge, right? The brain is just sponging every single belief
Yeah.
system possibly from society to the friend to the teacher to the parents to the siblings, and just absorbing their identity of who they are. And the parents get to see this and they're like, that's not freaking you. Dude, you are amazing. You're magnificent. You're all this stuff. So in their mind, a parent, what they do is they'll try to layer on like these beautiful words to them. But then what happens is it starts, well, no, my true belief is that I'm not. And so they live in this
Mm.
duality world of like, well, who the hell am I? And
Yeah.
so, um,
Imposter.
yep, exactly. And so, it really does when you become entrepreneurship was probably one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life because what I recognize is when I go to work, I don't get paid. There's some days I actually lose money when I go to work. So it's way different than when you're in the corporate world. You show up, you just get paid, right? And so you don't have
Mm.
to actively, really intensely work on yourself because I realized my brain, my limiting beliefs was either going to make me money that day or it was going to deter me and actually make me lose money that day. And so I had to go into this self-development space on another level, not only for myself, but I also had to do it for my weight loss clients. Is I recognized the biggest thing that was holding my weight loss clients back was consistency.
Yeah.
And consistency isn't nutrition and workouts.
That's right.
Consistency comes from those limiting beliefs. is, am I
Mhm.
worth this? Do I deserve this? Am I good enough to do my workout today? Am I worth it to take my time out today for myself? I have so many moms and so many people pleasers that are just self-rejecting, constantly putting
Mhm.
themselves on the back burner. So the secret or the answer to your question of getting through these is go towards them. Really, go
Mhm.
towards them, confront them, because they truly are exactly what we're saying, limiting beliefs. They are limiting you, and they are lies within your own mind. And so when you go
Mhm.
back there, you go, whose belief did I adopt? Is this my belief? And what is
Yeah.
true? And I got to see a whole different perspective. I recognized my limiting beliefs and was able to go through each one of those. And the freedom I got from that, I mean, talk about no longer having imposter syndrome. Like, imagine who you would become, those listeners right now. Think about you're not holding yourself back anymore. Like, what could you
Mhm.
accomplish with you being able to feel that you are unstoppable and you're worthy of all of this and you are enough?
Yeah.
Wow. You know? So,
You are enough. So now you know you're enough, and you realize that there's a purpose for you. So, how do you uncover your purpose and passion?
purpose and passion is not what you do, it's how you make people feel, is my thought.
Mhm.
Um, because what happens is people are chasing this thing called a purpose and a gift through a job or
Right.
maybe lack thereof. I have I mean, stay-at-home mom is a job, but in their mind, they say, I'm not living my purpose and my passion. I'm like, girl,
You're right.
no. It's in you.
You're
It's
one
not
of the
something
most
you
important things. Oh gosh. Mm.
exactly. Exactly. And so it's not what you do, but it's
Mhm.
the feeling that you leave people. Do you leave your children feeling smart, empowered, capable, And so sometimes when I share my gift, it makes other people kind of recognize, oh my gosh, a gift can be yet so simple, but yet so crazy powerful. So my gift is I am able to see a person's core of them, not the ego of them. I'm not able to see the limiting belief version of them. I see the
Mhm.
unstoppable, brave, confident, magnetic version of them. And I'm able to pull that version out. So that's my
Yes.
greatest gift. It's not that I am a aligned coach and booty bands coach and entrepreneur and da, da, da. It's not what I do. It's just how I make people feel. I make people feel
Mhm.
empowered.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you see it so simple, but yet so empowering. So
Mhm.
that's how people get to their true gift is sit back and actually listen to what people are telling you. If people
Mhm.
say you make me feel so happy when I'm around you, okay,
Mhm.
listen to what people say and you're going to hear it on repeat. So the more that you listen, the more that you're going to be able to really see your gift.
Mhm. So time has flown by. I had just one question. Again, being someone in the late 60s, metabolism isn't always your friend. How can we really improve our metabolism? Is it part mindset? Is it part diet? Is it, what would you say?
Yeah, I will give you all of my details that I've had. I've been in the weight loss world for about 20 years. And I've seen it all. I've been able
Hmm.
to hear it all. I've been able to literally walk side by side with women all the way from 20s to 70 years of age, and have been able to really live in their shoes. And I get to see their BMI scales of what works, what doesn't work. And so I'm going to tell you what I have found really work. So, first step, don't go to the tools. First step is I would lean as much as you can in towards your nervous system. This is what's operating your hormones because for men, they can just do some workouts and they can just do some nutrition and their body's going to change. But for us women, we know there's a lot more depth to it. We're
Hmm.
more hormonal than we are than them. And so what that means is we have to really be mindful of these limiting beliefs We have to be
Mm,
mindful of anxiety. We have to know where it's coming from. We have to learn to befriend anxiety, that it's actually just trying to protect us. Stop
mm,
hating these things. Start loving them, start thanking them, and you'll notice they'll start to fade away. There is absolutely hope out of anxiety without medication and without endless talk therapy. If you're not growing in your therapist meeting, you should move on and find somebody that you're growing with. You should have
mm,
50% of the call that you're talking, 50% that you're growing. So after you go through the nervous system, that will put you on a foundation for your hormones. Because no matter how stressed out you are, you're not going to be able to lose that weight. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. And so, can we be in a stressful environment, but yet a peaceful inside state? Yes. Life is always going to be stressed out. So, for those that it's like, well, what are you going to do? Just make it so I don't have kids, I don't have a job anymore, and I'm just not going to be stressed out. No, you can live a stressful outside life, but an internal peace. And
mm,
so once you learn how to do that, then my next step is 99.9% of women are protein deficient, eating enough in general.
mm,
What they're doing is they're trying to starve themselves towards weight loss, but in really what they're doing is they're imbalancing their blood sugar levels, imbalancing their hormones. They're making it so their body goes into a state of protection instead of fueling it. So the metabolism that you just mentioned is muscle. And the older and older we get, we lose our muscle mass. That's a
right.
fact. And so the more and more we get older, the more we need to be working out and eating more protein. That feels foreign to us. If we've come
Mm,
from a world of the 70s and 80s and 90s that was all about starving yourself, an appetite suppressant world. So I've
right.
had to retrain women's brains to tell them to eat more. And do you know how terrifying that is? From when you think that weight loss is eating less, and now you think you have to eat more? So psychologically, it's very scary for women. And I hold their hand through it. And as soon as they start to eat more and they see that their body responds and now it wants to lose the weight, wow, an aha moment
Mm,
clicks for women. And so then now what I do is I teach them how to lift correctly. I teach them how to lift so that they can start developing the bone mass that they need as they get older and older.
yeah,
And
that's really
so
important.
that would be my secret is right there. Those would be
Mm,
my
mm,
three tips would be one is go through the nervous system, create an inner peace. It's not hard, it's not difficult. It can be done in one session. Create the inner peace. Second, eat more protein and eat minimum 4 times a day, nothing less. If you're eating anything less than 4 times a day, you're just making yourself gain weight. You're
mm.
imbalancing your blood sugar levels, et cetera, et cetera. And then resistance training. I don't care if it's bands, I don't care if it's weight, but put resistance on the body, and that will help you lose the fat. All those three steps. Mhm.
Awesome. Well, if you out there have been intrigued, interested, excited, and want to know more about what Danita can do for you, then you're going to want to get the next thing, which is the slide that has her contact information. So let me share my screen. If you're just listening, you know the drill. You should have been taking notes all along. She gave some wonderful insights for you. But if you have not the ability, if you're driving or don't have the ability to write things down now, everything can be on my YouTube channel, Vicki Noethling. So please do subscribe if you haven't already, as well as my findyourleadershipconfidence.com website. The website is alignwithdanita.com. Alignwithdanita.com. On Facebook and Instagram, you can just search your name. Facebook is danita.young.7 and Instagram is Danita Young. Her podcast, which you want to subscribe to, so go ahead and write this down. It's Align with Danita podcast. Same as her website, alignwithdanita.com. So easy to find, Align with Danita podcast. I'll let Danita talk to you about things she puts out on her website and what she puts out on social media, maybe some ideas of the topics and guests she has for her podcast. So, Danita, it's all yours.
Yeah, the podcast, I actually love bringing my clients on so you can actually hear their
Awesome.
stories. And it's so fascinating how some of them are very similar, but yet all of them are very different. And so you can have relatability to those that are actually going through it and get to experience like how they're
Mm,
being able to break free and and step into that. And through the website, there's a masterclass that you'll be able to see on there that you can go in and learn more about it. But I think it's just more about, if you're curious, learn more about it. It's that curiosity, such a great place to be. That's the green part of your nervous system. Always be curious, in my mind.
Very true. And I always say curiosity brings confidence. So it's been awesome having you on. I'm so glad we could get together today and have this great conversation about 5 powerful steps to feel unstoppable. As always, I remind you and everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling, signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.